Brawl Stars now has 92 brawlers in the game, and today I'm going to attempt to explain every single one of them in 10 seconds each. Let's go. Starting us out, we have 8-Bit. 8-Bit is a walking, talking arcade machine who can do some insane damage. He struggles, or at least struggled, with identity conflict issues, but was luckily strong enough to overcome them, and now he's our resident slowpoke. Now Amber is hot. Like, no, literally. She is a fire performer. Her super covers you with oil, and as if it couldn't get any worse, she shoots you with fire until you are burnt to a crisp. Angelo is next, and if you didn't know, he is literally a mosquito. And while normal mosquitoes are annoying, Angelo might even be worse. He is a marksman with some crazy damage, and even though he claims to be Cupid, those arrows are anything but sweet. In fact, they're poisonous. Ash is a grumpy guy who lives his days on guard duty while being dressed as a trash can. Now, whether it be the smell of trash or the frustration with guests, it's not quite clear, but there is no arguing that he is one very angry guy. Now, on the opposite end, we have Barley, who is generally a pretty chill and polite bartender. Barley prefers to sit back and throw bottles at you from a distance, but don't make a mess in his bar because he takes that kind of personally. Now, B is a sweet little kid who has a love for, wait for it, bees. Now, if you know anything about bees, you know that they sting. And well, yeah, so do the bees that she uses to attack you with. Now, you can try to run, but she'll just slow you down while her mechanical hive finishes you off. Unlike B, Belle is not a sweet person. In fact, she is the leader of a gang of outlaws called the Gold Arm Gang, and if you cross her, she won't hesitate to put a bounty on your head. Also, in 3v3 modes, no matter what, your team will stay right next to you, making sure that she gets the most out of her shots. Just like I'm going to get the most out of this segue to today's sponsor. Summoner's War Sky Arena is one of the original and most popular turn-based RPGs ever, and they are celebrating their 11th anniversary with a massive new event and update. During this event, you can get up to 200 free anniversary scrolls to summon 3 to 5-star monsters, including the premium light and dark monsters. You'll be able to select a 4-star and a 5-star monster of your choice, and they will come fully awakened at max level and max skilled. And during this event, you'll be able to have your very own customized Hall of Heroes experience. With this, you'll be able to select 10 monsters from all previous Hall of Heroes and then use them in a special dungeon where you can earn summoning pieces for a specific 4-star monster. With a wide variety of content from PvE to PvP, you can choose to play with or against your friends, where you will collect huge rewards and rise to the top. And to celebrate this anniversary event, if you use the in-game code shown right here, you're going to get 10 11-year special scrolls, 1 legendary scroll, 20 mystical scrolls, and 5 million mana stones. So whether you're new to the game or a returning player, now is the perfect time to hop into Summoner's War Sky Arena and join in on this huge event. And you can do so by clicking the link in the description. Big thanks to Summoner's War Sky Arena for sponsoring today's video. Now, our next brawler, Barry, is more concerned with the sweet things in life, despite his rather grim voice lines.
Unicorn tears.
He throws ice cream to damage enemies and gives his team a treat while he's at it. He acts big and tough and will protect Mandy and her shop with his life, but secretly, I think he loves his job at the candy store. Now, Barry is all about lending a helping hand to his team, while BB, yeah, she's just in it for the thrill of beating up her enemies. BB is in a biker gang with Bull and Crow, and as if that wasn't intimidating enough, her gameplay is to run up to you, spit gum at you, and beat you with a baseball bat. I like the gum, but I could do without the beating. Now, a bat's pretty dangerous, but you know what's even more dangerous? A bow and arrow, and even more so if they're equipped with explosives. Bo is a calm and wise man, but don't let that fool you because those arrows hurt, and he has some pretty good aim. Except when he's my teammate. And right when you think it couldn't get any worse, oh, what's that? Yeah, you fell right into Bo's mines. Again, and there's almost nothing that you can do to save yourself. Now, Bonnie is our next brawler, but don't make the mistake of letting her cuteness fool you. She shoots her teeth at enemies from a cannon, and when the time is right, she launches herself to do the dirty work. Now, Bonnie is also the adopted daughter of her uncle Stu, which we'll talk about later, and you can tell that she really looks up to him. Aw. Now, just like Bonnie, Brock's specialty is long-range combat, except he does it in style. Dope shades and a fresh haircut, and also a quad-barrel rocket launcher. That kind of helps. Now he kicks it old school, but that doesn't mean that he won't drop the bomb on you. Now you remember how scary BB was? Well, meet another member of her biker gang, Bull, and he makes BB look like a walk in the park. This tough guy will literally run through walls and blast you away with his shotgun. But I'll tell you a little secret, and don't tell anybody, but he's actually kind of a softie deep down. Buster's up next, and he's just a young guy trying to make it in the world. He works at a movie theater and even uses a projector to shoot light at his enemies. Don't ask me how that works, it just does. He makes movies with his best friend Fang, and then they play those movies for their enemies, which somehow makes an impenetrable shield around him. Now that I think about it, Buster is either a evil genius or the least logical brawler in this game. Up next we have Buzz, and Buzz is a lifeguard who takes his job very seriously. So seriously, in fact, that he has learned how to swing around like Spider-Man using a life buoy just so he can get in your face and blow his whistle at you. Talk about a stick in the mud. Now Buzz may be annoying, but at least he's doing what's right. Unlike Byron, who is a shady snake oil salesman. Byron is a doctor who shoots his concoctions to either heal his teammates or damage his enemies. You should never trust a doctor who's only in it for the money, or one that forces you to get injections of mystery liquid. Just saying. Up next, we have Carl, and he rocks. Get it? Because he's a GI? Never. Carl uses his pickaxe like a boomerang and spins around with it as his super. Now, as the resident nerd, he makes a ton of really cringy geology jokes, but we love him for it. And coincidentally, since I just got surgery and have to wear a retainer, I kind of sound like Carl. Geology rocks! Next, we have the showgirl Charlie. Charlie is a circus girl and a thief who attacks you with her yo-yo, wraps you in a cocoon, and lets her spiders eat you alive. Yeah, I don't think I want to go to that show. And while not a thief, Chester is sure to get on your nerves. Now, Chester works with Mandy and Barry in the candy store, except for him, work is just plain pranks. I mean, after all, he is a jester. He attacks you with bells and digs into his bag of goodies to pull out some candy to use as his super, and they are anything but sweet. Now, we've already seen Bonnie, who rides in a cannon, but now we have Chuck, who is the conductor of the ghost train. Let me give you a rundown of Chuck's gameplay. Step 1, spawn in and find a place to throw down your super. Step 2, repeat that until you have 4 of them. Step 3, spam the funny yellow button until you win. Clancy is next, and honestly, he's just kind of a big faker. He is a huge fan of Hank, and he pretends to be a lobster to serve with him in battle. Now, while his outfit may be fake, his damage is not. And once he levels up, his attacks and super do some crazy damage. And speaking of crazy, our next brawler is Colette, who works at the gift shop in Star Park. Now that may seem innocent enough, until you learn she stalks every brawler and keeps a notebook about them. Oh, and what's worse is, she blows you unwanted kisses that deal a % damage, and then she forces you to sign her book. And by that I mean she slams it into your face. Colt is next, and he is one of the OG faces of Brawl Stars. He's even the star attraction at the park. He's a sheriff who does a good job at keeping everyone in line with his dual 6-shooter pistols. Well, I mean, except for Shelly, who thinks that he's just a little too full of himself. I mean, you know what they say. If you can't beat him, send him to another dimension. Actually, nobody says that, but it's a good segue to Cordelius. Now, Cordelius does not believe in a fair fight. In fact, he prefers to yank you into his shadow realm, and then he uses his poisonous mushroom blaster to deal with you there. Remember BB and Bull? Well, the final gang member here is Crow, and he is the most savage of them all. Crow is, well, he's a crow who's also a dagger-flinging assassin. Crow is super quick, can fly, and oh, did I mention that those daggers are poisoned? So yeah, even if you try to run away, that poison will keep ticking you down until you wither away. Up next, we have the apparent enemy of Crow, Daryl. Which if you spin Daryl around, you can see Crow's daggers already in that barrel. Now Daryl is, as he says, a totally legit pirate, but don't let that innocent voice fool you. His double barrel shotguns demand all the respect that you can give. Oh, and don't bother running, he'll just roll on you without a second thought. Doug is next, and he is probably the goofiest brawler in Brawl Stars. He literally slams food at you to attack, and yeah, if that weren't enough, his master is literally called Wiener.
A wiener is you!
Now, as goofy as he is, his ability to revive himself or a teammate can come in clutch, although he always just ends up reviving himself anyway. Now, Doug may be dressed like a dinosaur, but Draco does one better and rides one. Well, I mean, at least an inflatable one. Draco is a rock star who stabs his enemies with his guitar, and then he uses his fire-breathing dragon to perform a killer solo. No, seriously. His solo will literally kill your entire team if you're not careful. Next, we have another icon to Brawl Stars, Dynamite. Now, Dynamite is most well known for two things, his jumping and his love for his little canary underneath his hat. But don't get too caught up on that, or he will absolutely get his stun gadget, and the next thing you know, it'll be a huge barrel of TNT right to your face, and you'll be watching that respawn timer once again. Now, Dynamite has some famous qualities, but our next brawler, Edgar, the term infamous is probably more fitting. Edgar literally broke the game on release and continues to drive players crazy to this day. He's an edgy teen who works with Colette and attacks people with his scarf. Now that might not seem like much, but with his jump and his ability to heal from his damage dealt, he quickly becomes a huge problem for low health brawlers. You know who doesn't have a hard time with Edgar? El Primo. El Primo is literally a professional wrestler who uses a good old-fashioned knuckle sandwich to deal with his enemies. And if you're really unlucky, he'll hit you with a flying elbow drop. Ems is up next, and she is a mummified teen who is obsessed with her social media status. She is always looking to take a selfie and, keep up that image. But just don't bother her or she'll probably spray you with some extra toxic hairspray that can literally melt your face. I'm serious, look at her bio. Now we have a few parents in Brawl Stars, but our next brawler, Eve, is by far the worst. Now Eve floats around on her little spaceship and shoots eggs at anybody in range. And shooting your own eggs is one thing, but it's another to let your newly hatched babies go fight for you and poison enemy brawlers. Seriously, somebody ought to call Child Protective Services. Now our next brawler, Fang, likes to make amateur movies with Buster, and he has watched so many movies that he's actually learned some pretty sick moves. And even if he can't kick you, you still better watch out because he's not afraid to send his shoes flying at you to get the job done. Finks is up next, and he's relatively new to the park, but he has some crazy powers. Somehow he's gotten his hands on a staff that shoots light beams and can even throw down a time warp to slow down and speed up attacks. Up next is Frank, and while he may seem scary, he's actually a pretty chill guy. Also, he's Ems's uncle. Just don't agitate him like Mortis did, or you're going to end up on the wrong side of a massive hammer, and trust me, you do not want that. Now, just like Dynamite, our next brawler, Gale, is an old fella who just likes to get his job done. He uses a snowblower to keep the Snowtail grounds clean or to blow you into the next block if you misbehave. Then there's Gene, who is a literal genie, and he uses a mystical lamp to shoot smoke at his enemies. Oh, and if you try to get away, don't celebrate too fast because his super launches a huge magic hand to yank you right back to him. Then we have Gray, who is a man of few words, probably because he has a career in silent films, but he shoots projectiles out of his finger guns that somehow deal damage, and if that weren't illogical enough, he can draw circles on the ground and teleport through them. Yeah, can't stop cartoon logic. Up next, we have the greedy shop owner Griff. Griff is Colette and Edgar's boss, and did I mention he's greedy? He is a guy dressed as a cash register who uses the employee's tip jar to throw coins at his enemies, and the one time that he uses his own banknotes, it's a super and they come right back to him. No wonder one employee is edgy and the other one's crazy. Now, Grom is a retired kindergarten teacher who is now a security guard at Star Park. Grom still won't show his face after all those ruthless little kids scarred him, and sometimes he even has flashbacks.
I hear the children laughing at me.
He throws little walkie-talkie grenades for his attack and then a huge one for his super. Next, we have Gus, who might just be the cutest brawler in Brawl Stars. He rides the ghost train with Chuck, even though he isn't actually a ghost. He uses possessed balloons to attack with, and then a ghostly balloon dog Spooky as his super, which gives him or his teammates a shield. We mentioned him earlier, but now is the time to meet the big man himself, Hank, who is actually a teeny tiny shrimp. But don't let that size fool you. He actually drives a tank that packs a huge punch with its bubble cannon and can even fire fish torpedoes out of the sides. And he was prawn ready, so don't think that you're going to catch him off guard. Up next is Jackie, a foul-mouthed construction worker who uses her jackhammer to make shockwaves that damage everyone around her. And lucky for us, her, interesting language is blocked out by the sound of the jackhammer. Janet is next, and she's Bonnie's older sister. She is a musical performer who has some slight beef with Melody, who I'm talking about later, and she uses her loud notes to attack with. But she also has a jetpack that drops bombs on anyone below, and as a bonus, it helps save her little sister from some sketchy situations. Now, Jessie is our next brawler, and she is a child prodigy. She uses her shock rifle, which she built herself, to launch electricity that bounces between enemies. She also built a cute puppy turret named Scrappy, and he helps her deal with anyone who's bothering her. Now we also just got 2 new brawlers, and the first is Jay Young. He is the classic Discord mod that works in the office by day, but at night he loves to sing karaoke, although poorly. He's a support brawler with 2 modes aptly named Work and Party. He can heal, damage, and give boosts to his teams. He's like Byron, but better in some ways, and much more versatile. And the second new brawler is Kaze. She's Kenji's wife, and she works in the sushi place with him. Now she is a very complicated brawler, and the very first ever ultra legendary rarity. She's an assassin who has 2 different stances that you swap by using your gadget. One stance dashes and attacks with fans, and the other uses thrown daggers. Both are high damage dealing and big mobility, and while she isn't released just yet, you can count on that when she is, she's going to be destroying you and your bank account in short order. Now if you thought Byron was creepy, meet Juju, who uses literal voodoo magic to attack you with. Her black magic helps her to even walk on water, and her attack changes based on where she's standing. Creeped out yet? Well, if not, meet Gree, who is her friend from the other side, who is a literal voodoo doll. Yeah, just get away from me. Next is Kenji, and he is a master swordsman as well as a successful sushi chef. He dashes around and slices his enemies to bits. He's even quick enough to leap into the air and slash a huge area in an X shape. Now Kit is our next brawler, and believe it or not, this little kitty was once a booming movie star. Now he just spends his time jumping into boxes and slashing other brawlers to try to regain the fame that he once had. Now if you're willing to carry him, and he's down with that too, he'll just heal you as a thanks and throw yarn at anybody attacking you. Next we have Larry and Lori, and they play a good cop, bad cop team. Now, depending on which twin you're dealing with, you may get tickets thrown at you or shot at you. And trust me, neither one is fun. Now, Leon is an iconic brawler, and his ability to go invisible is second to none. But what makes him so dangerous is his insane burst damage that he can do with his spinner blades up close. The last thing that you want to see is a Leon suddenly appear right next to you. Oh yeah, and he's also Nita's little brother. Then we have Lily, who used to be a normal girl, but after an incident in the woods, she's now become an assassin with magical powers. She can teleport behind you and stab you with her thorns, and even transport herself into the shadow realm for a short amount of time. Our next brawler is Lola, and if there's one thing I know about her is that she is full of herself. So much so, in fact, that her super is a literal manifestation of her ego that fights alongside of her. Seriously, somebody needs to humble her, and fast. Now Lou is up next, and he works with Gale in the Snowtel, except that he is literally a snow cone machine. Now that may sound sweet and maybe even cool. Seriously, I had to. Don't let him fool you though, because he will throw snow cones at you until you are frozen solid. Next we have Maisie, and she acts as the responsible older sibling of Fang and Buster, putting out fires when she's needed, both literal and metaphorical. Her arm has been replaced by a safety foam shooter which she uses to blast enemies with, and if you get too close, she'll blast you with a shockwave, pushing everyone away. Mandy is next, and she runs a candy store. The same one that Barry and Chester work at. She uses that hard candy to shoot enemies at insane ranges, and even has a super that launches a huge ray of sugar that almost has infinite range. Then there's Max, who is an up-and-coming superhero that uses her addiction to energy drinks to her and her team's advantage. Everything about her is quick. Her speed, and even her attacks, which are tiny lasers from her blaster that reload very quickly. Meeple's our next brawler, and he is an absolute stickler for the rules. That is, unless they apply to him, and then he will not hesitate to break them and cheat. Just like his attacks, which have an auto-aim built in, or maybe his super that lets him and his team shoot through walls, and even a gadget that traps enemies. Yeah, rules for thee and not for me. That should be his motto. Now our next brawler is Meg, and she is a mechanic doing the dirty work while Surge and Max get the praise. Now her regular form may not do much, but when she's in mecha form, that's when you need to look out. Her shots do a ton of consistent damage, and if that wasn't enough, she can swipe her mecha's forearm to destroy anyone in front of her. Now Melody is our next brawler, and she is a karaoke star, which, as stated earlier, has led to some altercations between her and Janet. Her main attack is a musical note that starts to dance around her after hitting its target. These notes do some insane close range damage, so if she's coming at you, it's best time to get out. Now, Miko is the sound guy at Brawlywood Studios. However, he plays himself up to be some sort of big shot celebrity director. His main attack lets him jump over walls and onto enemies, meaning no matter how hard you hide, Miko can get to you. His super launches him high into the air, and trust me, you do not want a monkey landing on you from that height. Mo is a blind rat who was adopted by Grom, because that makes sense. He helps keep Star Park clean and safe. Well, maybe just clean. For his main attack, he throws rocks at you, and for his super, he drills through the ground and bursts out right below you, and, well, you can guess the rest. Now, a blind rat throwing rocks and driving a drill may seem scary, but what about a vampire mortician? Well, that's exactly who our next brawler is. Mortis is Frank's brother and Ems's uncle, but more importantly, he is a dashing creature of the night. He uses his shovel to dash forward and smack enemies with it. Oh yeah, and being a vampire, he can control bats to swarm his enemies and heal himself in the process. Now, bats may be a bit creepy, but lucky for us, penguins are not. And our next brawler, Mr. P, who is the owner of the Snowtail, dresses as a penguin. But don't let that cute costume fool you. He has some serious anger issues, which you can see when he constantly throws luggage at his enemies, which, if you didn't know, that hurts, like a lot. He can summon many penguin robots to track down and attack bad guests. Nani uses her little helper Peep to blow up any threats. With her main attack, she shoots 3 orbs of light that deal insane damage. That is, if you can hit your shots. Now, Nita is Leon's older sister and, even more impressively, has elemental and animal control. For her attack, she sends a shockwave through the ground at her enemies, and for her super, she throws down her necklace, which summons a spirit bear to fight for her. That is a lot of power for a little girl. No wonder Leon always calls on her for help.
Nita!
Olly is one of the newest brawlers to be added, and he has already made a big impact. He is a rap-loving teen who loves to play music on his hoverboard, which doubles as a boombox. His music is so addictive that his enemies are literally hypnotized by it and they follow him around. Now, his hoverboard can also fire a loud sound wave to deal damage to multiple enemies at once. Otis is next, and as a street artist, he and Olly would probably get along. To deal damage, he squirts paintballs from his spray gun, which is also his arm, which, come to think of it, is kind of weird and gross. But anyway, for his super, he shoots a starfish who grabs enemies and squeezes them, not allowing them to attack for a short while. Next up is the man, the woman, the myth, the legend, Pam. Now, Pam is Jesse's mom, and she works at a scrapyard where she built her own cannon to shoot nuts and bolts at opponents. She still has a loving touch of a mother, though, and she shows this by her station that is designed just to help teammates heal up. Now, Pearl is our next brawler, and it may surprise you to hear that this cookie oven is actually in the same gang as Belle and Sam. And it's true, she's actually also their daughter. How 2 people give birth to a robot? I don't know. It's Brawl Stars, what can we say? And she shoots burning hot cookies at her enemies. Ouch. Now, if you get too close, she can release all of her heat at once in a fiery explosion. Double ouch. Now, Penny is a pirate that sells right beside Daryl, but she's just in it for explosions. In fact, she doesn't even care about the money because she shoots bags full of coins as her attack. Now, the real fun comes with her super, which is a cannon that deals some major explosive damage. Piper is a long-range brawler who likes to bake in her free time, but instead of cookies, she bakes her own grenades. And another brawler, Rico, has a massive crush on her. Now, Piper uses her umbrella sniper gun, cleverly called Gunbrella, as her main attack to do huge damage at range. And if you invade her personal space, she'll leap away, throw those grenades at her feet, and leave you in the dust. Now, there are a lot of musically inclined brawlers in Brawl Stars, but the OG of them all is Poco. Poco is an undead mariachi who plays some sick tunes on his guitar to deal damage to his enemies and also heal his teammates. As his super, he rocks a solo that heals himself and his team. And then there's RT, who is a total creep. He watches everything that goes on in Star Park. His main attack is a beam of light that marks you so that you take extra damage from the next attack. And for his super, he splits himself in half, and both halves fire a signal wave to deal huge amounts of damage. So if you didn't already know, stay away from Split RT. There are a lot of robot brawlers, and Rico is the next one. And as I mentioned before, Rico has a huge crush on Piper, although that came after he fell in love with a literal vending machine. Yeah. Don't ask. Now, Rico used to be named Ricochet, and for good reason, as both his attack and his super fire a bunch of bouncy balls that ricochet all over the place. Now, Rosa is another tank in Brawl Stars, but when her super is ready, she is the tank. Her super shields her with her pet plant on her back, which gives her a 70% shield. Not only can she take hits, but she can deal them out too with her mean punches. Now, it's not clear if Ruff's got a demotion or if he just prefers to go by Ruff's because he used to be called Colonel Ruffs, which may be a sensitive spot for him, so I'm not going to ask. He fires a laser blaster at his enemies, which also bounce off of walls, and for his super, he calls in a supply drop from outer space to give either himself or a teammate a boost. Then there's Sam, the final member of the Gold Arm gang with Belle and Pearl. Sam is a huge man who uses some elbow grease and muscles to give some mean punches. Oh, yeah. Also, those punches are made worse by the fact that he wears knuckle busters, which he can also throw at you to deal damage. So yeah, stay away from the buff ex-criminal factory worker, as if that wasn't obvious enough. Our next brawler is Sandy, who really just wants to take a nap. In fact, he barely stays awake on the battlefield no matter how intense it gets. For his main attack, he plays dirty by throwing sharp pebbles at his enemies, and right when you think that you can see again, he summons a huge sandstorm that both conceals himself and his teammates. Now, we talked about Chuck, the ghost train conductor, Gus, the innocent boy who's not afraid of ghosts, but where are the actual ghosts? Well, meet Shade. Shade is a ghost that inhabits a pile of clothes. Now, as a ghost, he can walk on water and even through walls. Now, his attack, if you can call it that, is actually just a big ol' hug that unintentionally deals damage to whoever he embraces. Now, Shelly is our next brawler, and I mean, who doesn't know Shelly? She is the starting brawler, and she has a shotgun that deals crazy damage and with an even crazier super. Spike is Star Park's resident mute, which, according to his bio, might have been caused by some trauma. Spike throws cactus bombs at enemies. Yeah, ouch. And for his super, he throws a huge spike bomb. Super ouch. Now, Sprout is an interesting brawler as he is some sort of plant or seed that has gained consciousness. He throws seed bombs at his enemies and can grow thick vine hedges to block off lanes or choke points. Seriously, Sprout, what even the heck are you? And speaking of oddly conscious brawlers, Squeak is literally dog drool. Like Supercell. How? Squeak throws sticky drool bombs that stick to opponents and explode. And again, how? And his super is just a big cluster of his main attack. I mean, look, I know it's just a game, but maybe try to make a little sense? Stu is next, and he is Bonnie and Janet's uncle who adopted them and is now a father figure. He's also a test dummy who has a huge heart, and he says that he's only doing it for all the lonely kids out there. Gotta be the uncle of the year for sure. Stu shoots fireworks from his fingers to deal some pretty decent damage, and his super is a dash that goes so fast it leaves flames on the ground behind him. Now, the final brawler of the superhero trio is Surge. Now, Surge is more of a party boy than a hero though, and he shows that by his main attack, which just shoots juice at people. And if that wasn't enough to convince you, his super upgrades him to get better abilities. However, he just calls it party tricks. Now, Tara may be the most downplayed brawler in Brawl Stars. She's a tarot card reader who throws sharp cards at her enemies to deal piercing damage. Now, you may think that that's impressive, and you'd be right, but that is nothing compared to her super, which literally summons a black hole that sucks in enemies and spawns clones from the void. Seriously, Tara, who hurt you? You know how annoying ticks can be in real life? Well, yeah, triple that here. Tick is a walking, talking, noise-making mine that throws mini-mines to deal damage and lock down areas. Oh yeah, and he also detaches his head, throws it at you, it chases you down and explodes, so I mean, there's that. Now, Willow may be the creepiest brawler in this game. Not only is she a literal swamp monster who throws poisonous cursed lanterns at you, but her super lets her take over your mind. I don't know about you, but I will be staying far away from that chick. And then finally, we have the brand new brawler, Lumi. Lumi is a drummer in the same band as Draco, but instead of using a dragon and a lance, she prefers the beatdown method of using her dual morning stars instead. Oh, and you can't run either because apparently she's got an arm on her and she will throw both of her morning stars at you at once like Thor's hammer and then summon them right back to her. For her super, she beats the ground and each hit causes a bigger explosion than the last. I mean, I knew she was a good drummer, but that's just kind of crazy. So there you have it. Every brawler in Brawl Stars explained in 10 seconds or less, or at least I tried. Now you give me your 10-second explanation of your favorite brawler in the comments down below. Peace out.